Welcome to T.D.G.S. Sports for episode 19 now. Yeah, 18 was last week, 17 was the week before. We're now on episode 19. Thank you very much. And I know what you're thinking.
What episode is the next one going to be?
Oh, it might be 20.
17 and 18, and now we're at 19. What's the next one?
Oh, 20. Now, I know what you're thinking, though. We are slightly less diverse today, which means some things we normally say we might not get away with it this time. But who knows? Yeah. We'll figure it out. If we get canceled, we won't.
So this week there will be no bagging on anyone of Latin descent.
Yes, because we can't do that because we don't have. Yeah, we're missing.
Our Latin fella isn't here this week.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we can't really. I mean, or we can say it now and apologize for it next week.
No, we say it and then he comes on and apologizes for us and verifies that it is okay and that we can indeed keep doing this. That's what we can
keep talking about it even when he's not here. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should give a note, like you get a note from the teacher.
Yeah.
We should have had a note from E that we could put up here that say we can bag on Latin folk when who's not here. Need that.
A disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It is okay, especially when we're talking about football.
Yeah. USA, baby. USA. I think this might be the year.
It might be the year, or it'll turn into a Dallas Cowboys song. Next year's our year. Year after that's our year.
Well, let's be realistic. The U.S. is coming off at 45-1 right now to win the World Cup. So when I say could be their year, I am managing expectations. However, I did put down a small wager, and I advise everybody out there, do not get involved in wagering. I'm going to say that even though I do from time to time, but I have a restraint that most people do not have, and especially in your 20s, don't do it. Your 20s are a decade of faux pas and trips back and forth to Stupidville. That's what it is. And if you're in your 20s right now and you're offended, trust me, when you're at 30, 32 or so, you'll understand what I'm saying. Even if you're doing your 20s right, it's not right. It's okay.
Brought to you by DraftKings. Gamble responsibly.
And FanDuel. Yeah.
And FanDuel.
Well, just think about it.
And Robinhood, where we don't mess with trust funds or hedge funds or anything else like that, especially not for GameStop.
Now, everyone knows that a crack dealer, they give you your first hit of crack is free, always. Now, what do you think it is, people, when DraftKings and FanDuel, your first bet is free? What do you think that is? Why do you think they're saying that,
The same thing we would do if they gave us a commercial for $500 million.
Yeah. 500 million. Wow.
I'm shooting big on that one. I hope that they hear this and say, you know what, that's a good idea. I love those guys.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Screw you, Patrick Mahomes.
We will endorse guys who tell people not to gamble.
Yeah.
Kind of like a comedian said back in the day about the marketing of cigarettes, because you have that warning label on the side. Here's how confident we are. We're going to invent something that kills you, tell you it kills you, and dare you not to buy it.
Yeah. And think about it this way. We could be the most diverse commercial they've ever had.
Yeah. True that.
So think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And that wins. They'll be like instantly, yes. Sign them up.
I'll tell you, though, my strategy when I bet on the U.S. to win the World Cup, it's like this. They're going off at 45-1. So I bet $20. I can afford $20. That's a burger and fries, whatever. So if they win it, it's $900. Off a $20 investment, so that's a nice return. But what I will do is, if they make it to the Cup final, what I'm going to do is probably put $400 on the other team. That way, I'm guaranteed a payout no matter what happens in the game. If the other team wins, I get $400. If the U.S. wins, I'll get $500. That's the way I'm going to do that. I'm not going to let the entire thing ride on a double or nothing if they make the Cup final. If they make the Cup final, I'm going to make sure I get paid by betting $400 the other way. That way, I will collect a net of $500, or I will collect a net of $400. That's the thing.
But remember, gamble responsibly.
That's right. And tell me this ain't responsible, what I just told you right now.
Yeah.
Because the most I'm going to lose is $20, no matter what happens.
Yes, gamble responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't gamble after drinking beer.
Or during. No, even one sip. Even one sip. I mean, what do they do when you was afraid to talk to a girl, Back in the days, like, okay, here, take a sip. You just one sip and you could walk up to her, okay? Hey, place that bet. Just a second.
Ran the other way. A lot of guys just run the other way.
Yeah, that was
they
you.
Go,
man.
they go, girl. They run the other way real quickly. It's like that scene in Euro Trip.
Girl pretty, Justin scared. Justin go home.
Just to go home. No say words. Yeah. Decides to be an incel.
Yeah, your wife told me you really don't have any game, and she had to wrangle you like a steer and just wrap your feet up with the rope and everything, then drag your ass off. Is that right?
That's not how I remember it, but that sounds cooler, right?
Oh, that's right. You're into that stuff. So, anyways, we won't divulge too much of your personal info here. So, hey,
How did you know?
Hey, I read her blog. What can I say?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so if you are gambling, there's my intro to this one. If you are gambling and you feel like making bets on these teams, America's a good choice. Spain,
well,
not so much. Not so much, because while Spain entered this in and got into the cup and started playing their game, they decided to go 0-0 against a team that is 67th ranked, Cape Verde.
Well, here's what happened, though. The team, they started their backups. The coach, Spain's coach, was so sure they were going to win that he did not start his best players, and they wound up in a tie. And now they're going to put themselves in a position where they're going to be in a must-win situation against some better teams. So I think that he may have gotten himself on the hot seat. It was disrespectful to his team, to the other team, and if they get booted early, Spain's going to be looking for a new coach. So, Justin, you had a little bit of coaching response in soccer, did you not? Back in the day, maybe.
I have played. So let me tell you about my experience. I have played one season of soccer.
Mm-hmm.
I tried out a couple times and didn't make it. I am a coach though, so I could qualify to coach the team, but I would have to be looking at a lot of YouTube videos on how to coach. But I could do it. Don't get me wrong. You know what I wouldn't do though at any situation ever?
What's that?
You know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't start my backups.
There you go.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
In respect for the game, the team, the other team, and the sport overall, and all the people watching, start your good guys. Take it seriously. This is it.
But why, right? Why? Why would you start your backups? What would cause somebody to literally start your freaking backups?
Because he wanted to. His whole thing was he's going to save his best players for when it really matters. So
yeah, okay, but so let's
yeah.
Hold on. Let's ask this question then, because we need to ask this question, right? World Cup teams are the most elite soccer players in the world, right? They make watching the sport that much better, which is, you're still slightly above baseball, and they're starting to cry too much. I was watching, I was watching a game earlier, and it was a lot of them were crying, and it was embarrassing. But nonetheless, okay, you are the elite soccer players of that country. Obviously the country's failing, but hey, we won't talk about that one. You start your backups. You would expect your backups to do what? Then.
Well, the backups were supposed to be so good that they could pretty much win the game,
So now you have a coach.
That's a show of strength, maybe.
Now
it's now like this. If we invaded on D-Day and only sent the guys out half as many as we were going to use, and only with just a little bit of ammo. That's what we did. We're so sure we're going to take the shore that we're going to only use half as many soldiers and only a little bit of ammo. Just to show the top.
But like, okay. So let's again, right? It's like that's your mindset, and then all of a sudden you lose. So now you're a coach that made the stupid ass decision, to start your backups, and you are also a coach that cannot recruit players to save your life. You can't recruit the elite players. Now that makes people, and this could make me, it could just be my first thought is, are the starters really that good if the backups are that bad?
Yes. Yeah, they are. Spain is elite. They're absolutely elite, but they need a deep run now. Now the pressure is on the team, and it's like the team is saying, hey, thanks, coach. Now all the pressure is on us, and it makes the team look bad. It's going to be, I think Spain, we'll see. We'll see how far they go.
Okay. So the
But
last part of
is a
this,
faux pas. This was a faux pas.
the last part of this, though, is at what point do you realize you made a mistake in the game? Do you wait?
Well, at what point do you realize you made a mistake, or what point do you admit publicly that you made a mistake? That's two different things. You can admit it to yourself. I guarantee you he'll never do anything like that again. And the rest of his short ass
do you wait till like a minute or two in when you realize you're not getting the right attacks into the offensive zone, or you can't get past the, that neutral area? I'm gonna call it the neutral zone because I'm a hockey player, but the neutral zone, right?
Yeah.
You can't get that attack into the offensive zone and can't set up and create those goals, right?
Yeah.
You should know now, from a coach perspective, right? You should know when your players are outmatched within the first 2 minutes of them being out there, right? That should be a moment of oh, they're outmatched. They're not able to attack the way I wanted them to attack, which means the other team's slightly better than I expected. And that's all right, timeout. Starters get back in. Backups go ahead and go to the pub or something down the road. And we're going to go ahead and take care of this game from here on out.
Right. But as we know, ego plays a part in a lot of things. That's it. I mean, in sports and coaching, and we look at Hollywood, where multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars are just wasted, and partnerships break up because based on whose name gets to go first on a billboard. It's just stuff like that. So ego plays a part in a lot of things.
Let me tell you something. Within 2 seconds, if I'm about to look stupid, I'm gonna make a change. My first thought is, especially coaching. My first thought is, oh God, I'm about to look stupid right now, right? And then I'm looking at my playbook, I'm looking at my personnel, and thinking, I don't want to look stupid today. Even with golf too, when I'm starting my number ones and number twos and threes, right? I'm sitting there going, I don't want to look dumb with these, numbers here. So let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Within seconds, if I sit down at the planning table for golf, I'm sitting there going, no, I made that mistake last week. That shit's not going to happen today.
Yeah, I get you.
It's not going to happen. Right. And with football, it's and even with hockey, it was the same way when I coached for 2 seasons, which was the best experience of my life coaching hockey. I wish I could do it again, but they don't have it out here. Is that you look at what's happening on the rink and you're like, I gotta fix this. This isn't working.
Right.
Right. Especially when you're not getting the right attack and you're not getting through that neutral zone. Those are the two things that should give it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It should. But that's a lot of coaches. I've seen coaches at a lot of levels, though, who can, and famously, old school college basketball fans will know this. I remember Steve Lavin when he was coaching at UCLA, and I remember he was good at coming up with a game plan, but he was not good at in-game adjustments. And some guys can come up with master plans, but once the other team adjusts, it's basically checkmate because they can't make adjustments within the game. That's actually a skill, and you shouldn't take it for granted.
Yeah, you know who was
awful at that? A lot of coaches cannot adjust within the game. They just can't.
Who was awful at that? Before we go on to the next soccer point, is that Matt Rule for Baylor. He was terrible at that. He would have such good personnel, good out there, and it's he got to those in-game moments where he needed to make adjustments, and you're just what the hell just happened? You just quit. You quit right there. You it, and it's no, we'll stick with the game plan. It's well, that's not working.
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur said that. No, he's got to stick with the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no, Matt, that's not working. It must be something with the mats. By the way, I can't wait till I unveil the hat that I had made for this show. I can't wait. I'm not going to show you. It's great.
Uh-oh.
It's great. It's great. Anyway, more soccer news though, guys. Spain, right? They are elite, and I'll give them that. But again, coaching kills. And to the coach out there, brother, you messed up. Say it and move on. Okay.
Yeah.
Own up to that one. On other news, right? The world is highly volatile. We got conflict with one of these teams in the World Cup. Now they showed up to the World Cup and they showed up with pins. With the, I believe it had the number of girls that we killed in Iran, which by blowing up 2 schools, I believe they showed up like that, right? But now they're talking about being oppressed, and that was the word in the article. I'm not sure if that's what was said, because it was I think it was a behind closed doors interview, right? But they were talking about how they weren't getting the same treatment as other teams because now they had to fly the morning of to the game, get on the bus from the airport, go to the game, play the game, get back on the bus, get back on the plane, fly back to I think they were Tijuana, Mexico, back to their base camp before they could get time to rest after that game. And then obviously you have a quick turnaround in the schedule. So you get a brief moment and you're not really relaxing in Tijuana, Mexico. That's for other things, if you know, right, what Mexico is about. Okay.
Yeah, well, okay. When you say Mexico, Tijuana is different from getting into Mexico City, or going to Cancun or Puerto Vallarta or something like that.
I was trying to be generous on this one.
Yeah.
But we know.
And I don't know if those donkey bars exist or not. I've heard from people who say that they do, people who say that they don't, people who claim to have been there. I don't know if they exist or not. That is one of the best urban legends in the country, at least. I won't say in the world, so I don't know, but in the country, it has to be. Do those donkey bars exist? I don't know.
Something tells me we're lying here with that one.
We're lying?
What? You're lying. You're lying.
No.
Tijuana. I've never been to Tijuana, but we know what it's known for.
Cheap lobster.
And we'll leave it at what?
Cheap lobster and being able to buy goods. I mean, you can just bargain. It says, how many pesos? You say, how about this many pesos? How about this many? How much this? Like Chris Rock, Good Lord, that's a lot of pesos. How about I give you half as much and you just give me most of the goods? There you
go. Anyway, so that is Iran's debacle. Now, Iran may not win the World Cup, but they won the World Cup, right? They came in and defeated old Donald Trump in America in this one and got them to essentially surrender. And so is this something we should really be talking about? I know ESPN runs crazy ones, but is this something where it's like, oh, they feel oppressed and we should run with it? Is this something where it's like that kind of comes with the territory when what?
Who doesn't feel oppressed? I mean, I remember I just watched a special on the 86 Mets. By the way, it's called Once Upon a Time in Queens, 30 for 30. It's a 4-parter. It's excellent. Excellent. Yeah, George Foster, who was on that team, complaining about racism, okay, on the team. No, this is true. This is true. And he was talking about them replacing when he got benched. He said they're always trying to take black players off the field and replace them with white players. He got replaced by a black player. Kevin Mitchell. They replaced him. Now, just get this straight. George Foster, who is black, gets replaced by Kevin Mitchell, who is also black, and then he accuses the team of racism. You do it. And this was in 1986. So, you can always find a way to make yourself a victim.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah. So
that's the irony in that one, right? It's like,
they're replacing people. Conflicts like they're talking about, scheduling. That stuff kind of just happens. It happens randomly. It's just about availability and so many teams and different obligations and things like this. Somebody always winds up with the poo-poo end of the stick. It happens.
Now, with this, right, you have base camp though, right? Their base camp's in Tijuana, right? Mexico.
They can't drink the water. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, but you have the aspect. It's like Donald Trump was so proud about the World Cup coming to America, right?
Yes.
It's like you think you would at least open up the accommodations for them to be in America at the very least, rather than.
I don't know how much control he had though over. I mean, we have the venue, so it's going to be there's Mexico, there's the U.S., and there's Canada who are going to be hosting the games. Okay. I don't know if he had, but it's probably FIFA who had, because FIFA is a gangster organization. It flat out is. Most gangster organization on the planet is FIFA. And they say who goes where and when. I really don't think he had a say in it. So, you know, that's just kind of how that goes. And who knows what FIFA was doing, because they have a lot of influence, a lot of world influence. They could have done something with Iran and made them said, hey, you know, we're going to kind of make a unilateral decision, and this is how it's going to be. And, you know, we favor this, we favor that. It could be. FIFA has a deep and very dark history. You start researching it, you'll find it's some straight up gangster type stuff.
What's the most gangster thing?
I mean, the payoffs, the amount of payoffs of money and just deep, dark.
So when
they accept, you can buy your way into anything with FIFA. It's like, so, you want something? Open up the checkbook. You know, that's basically all they say.
When did FIFA take over this, or have they always been since the French won the first cup?
Well, yeah, they've been in charge for a long time. Decades. So they host it. They get the host countries for, you know, whatever their process is. They're choosing the host countries, and then they arrange the draw and everything, and who's going to be where and things like that. So it's good. You know, USA got to win that game at SoFi, which is where the Rams play. Actually, it's just called Los Angeles Stadium because they had to remove all the advertising. But it's SoFi Stadium. We know that. Yeah. I did not go, even though it's 30 miles away, because I'm not paying $1,000 a ticket to watch that. I know some people who did, and it is a once in a lifetime, but I did not go. $1,000 a ticket and $100 to park.
Yeah.
Just so I can buy $50 hot dogs is a bit much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have bet on it, I guess.
I did.
Oh man. Anyways,
I did. You know, I met, like I said, I tell everybody don't bet. I gamble because I guess I'm the guy who says don't do crack, but see, I can do a little bit of crack and be okay. But I don't think you can.
Now the question, okay, right. So that's something then that we can't attribute to like the war, the volatility of the global climate, right? It's just something where we look at the organization, and the organization is just
right. So it may have something to do with the whole world thing, but it's what FIFA thinks and what FIFA wants, not about the U.S. or any of the other countries. FIFA does what they want when they want, and that is that. Done.
Right. And nothing from like donors from some other place near Iran could influence that at all.
Could influence FIFA?
Yeah.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't do conspiracy theories here, though.
We don't do conspiracy theories, but at this point, conspiracy theories are coming true. So, I mean,
we won't talk about theories. We can have theories, but I think the term conspiracy theory has been invented just so that people don't, it's almost illegal to recognize patterns.
Yeah.
When you see things, you say, oh, this looks like what someone did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I saw this, the different circumstances, things like that. You can notice a pattern. I think where the conspiracy part comes in is when you try to analyze what the actual end game is. You can recognize the pattern and say, hey, it is what it is. There's a pattern. There may be some reason why.
Yeah.
But when you get into the reason why, that's where the conspiracy part comes in.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theory. It's like, because they want this. You could be wrong about that. You could be 100% wrong, but you're not wrong about the pattern that you see.
But here on T.D.G.S Sports, we don't point out the obvious when we know that that's part of it. We'll just make a suggestion and let you figure it out, because I don't know. We just got out of YouTube jail. We might as well wait a little bit till we go back into YouTube jail.
Well, I said FIFA is a gangster organization. If you think gangsters take payoffs, well, hey, that's just something
from certain parts of the Near Eastern world.
I'm just saying, man.
Yep, payoffs from certain parts of the Near Eastern world. And anyway,
moving on. They will take payoffs from anywhere. I mean,
especially with houses in Germany with red shields on them, right?
It's like this. Just think about it. If you're driving down the street, like up here in my neighborhood, off of Beach and Cerritos, and you see some hookers on the corner, right? And you stop to negotiate. They're not going to ask what town you're from. They don't care. It's just where, show me the money. Well, I'm not saying FIFA cares what part of the world you're from. It's like, well, you want to talk? Okay. How much you got in that briefcase?
Yeah,
okay,
payoffs. We'll say that payoffs from anywhere, especially parts of the Near Eastern world. Anyway, moving on.
Money talks
other
and
news.
BS walks. That's all.
Other news: World Cup history has been made. Right, as Lionel Messi gets the first World Cup hat trick.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting, even for me who's not really into the World Cup or soccer. I still think it's cool that he can play in 6 World Cups, get that achievement, and then get a hat trick. And anytime anybody gets a hat trick, I'm sorry, you got to give
a hat trick in soccer. That's really something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Honestly, that happen all the time, but to score 3 goals in a sport where there's rarely even 3 goals scored between the 2 teams, but in soccer, that is really something. It really is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get a hat trick, any sport, if you get a hat trick, awesome, right? But especially in the World Cups for soccer, right? That is more difficult than you think. And to get it
against the best players in the world.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Even if he's just playing in our league here.
And to get it, like I said, on the World Cup with the most elite soccer players, and
biggest
it's like
stage.
at his age too, right? At his age in the league, phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal, right? However, while he was doing that, the World Cup, TV crew thought that the world wanted to see Patrick Mahomes.
If you want to take the United States, which is 5% of the world, and the TV crew, which was here, they do tend to. I won't even say they're dissing soccer, but it's just like when we're watching football, which is our most popular sport here, and they want to show Taylor Swift in the stands. They just do that. It's all about, you got to get, they value the casual viewer. And the casual viewer is not there for the game. They're there for oh, look, there's Patrick Mahomes not playing football, but sitting there watching a soccer match, which for some reason is just as important as seeing him actually play football. I don't know why.
But on the list of things like, okay, right, you pander to Ryan Reynolds. It's like, okay, cool, owns a soccer team, right? You pan to someone that's important to soccer, like you show Sir David Beckham, right? It's like soccer player, great, done great things, like worth like looking at his reaction. You look at Mahomes up there looking like a goofball, first and foremost, and secondly, he probably knows about as much as what's going on as I do when I watch a soccer game.
Okay, I'll tell you this though. Here's what happened back in my sports media days. I remember we had a boxing match in Vegas. I can't remember. I think it was a De La Hoya match. I think it was De La Hoya versus Obakar. I think it was, or maybe the Felix Trinidad. Can't remember. But anyways, I was there with kind of a guy who was a little bit of a rookie, and he's sitting there. We're there like an hour before the match starts. He's got binoculars. He's a reporter. I just knew him there. He was a colleague, and he's looking through his binoculars. He's like, "Oh, look, there's Charles Barkley. Oh, look, there's so-and-so." I don't care. I'm there to see boxing. I'm there to report on boxing. But some people, I can't imagine who cares about Charles Barkley sitting in a tuxedo ready to watch a boxing match.
Right.
I came here to watch Charles Barkley watch a boxing match. Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
I don't get it. But people are obsessed like that. I mean, Charles Barkley playing basketball in his prime, magnificent. But Charles I don't want to watch De La Hoya watching Charles Barkley play basketball. No, I'm not interested in that.
Charles Barkley playing golf at his retired age.
Yeah, but you know what? If you get him out there on the course, he'll whoop your butt, right?
With that swing, it'd be too embarrassing to get whooped on by him.
But it would happen.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna get you into a threesome, a golf threesome, okay, with Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, and we'll see how you do.
That's fine, man. As long as you supply the beverages to keep me hydrated while I play, I'll be part of that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see what I can do.
As long as though, if I'm not pulling the ball out of the cup and I get sucked into Space Jam's world, don't want that.
Yeah.
Don't want that. Don't want to end up like that. Anyway, so phenomenal achievement for Lionel Messi. Messi, I don't never know how to say his name. Again, hat trick,
Messi. Mark Messier is the hockey player.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
number 11. That's
and I would mess that up too.
That's 6 Stanley Cups there, Mark Messier.
Yeah. So phenomenal achievement. I don't think that will be accomplished again for a little bit of time.
It's going to be a minute. Phenomenal achievements. Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, there we go. Carolina Hurricanes. Last time we left this show, we were talking about Game 5, right? We were talking about what's going to happen in Game 5. And so much happened since then. It's like Game 5, we predicted that Carolina would come in and kill it because they had that momentum out of Game 4. And we were right with that one, that Carolina came into Game 5. They finally adjusted to a way that Vegas didn't, again, like I said, didn't have the personality or the personnel to stop them in that moment, right? And they didn't figure out how to adjust because they couldn't adjust, right? They had, at that point, all their adjustments were out, and we've seen this back and forth, adjust. Vegas does something, Carolina adjusts, Carolina does something, Vegas adjusts, and we got to the point where this became a who can adjust the best at the last moment, and that was Carolina. And props to them because they took Game 5, momentum went from Game 4 to Game 5, and then they kept it with Game 6. And I think we did predict it was going to go to Game 6, but we predicted the wrong team to get that Game 6. So Carolina Hurricanes, first cup in 20 years. Man, I got to say, again, this Stanley Cup Finals turned out to be, in my mind, one of the best Stanley Cup Finals that I have watched in my lifetime. And I'm going to say that. And like I say, I've been a lifelong hockey fan. I've watched every Stanley Cup, growing up, but it's like this one was the one that stuck out to me the most. Even above the two that the Kings got, right? That this was played the best. It really was.
The Kings were exciting because of that's my team, that's our team, and how long we have been waiting for it. But as far as the quality of hockey and the game itself, this was a magnificent cup final. I got to go back years to find just a cup final that was as good as this one. This was fantastic. It's an all-timer, instant classic, not a sexy matchup on paper. Who is Carolina? Who cares about Vegas? Whatever. But hey, it was great. It was great. And the whole thing with Brandon Bussey too, coming in for injured Freddie Anderson, the goaltender, and pulling a shutout in the clinching game. Incredible. And what a story. The guy was working at like Chipotle a couple of years ago. Seriously. Didn't play his first games until late in the season. Didn't even start the playoffs, but he came in at the most critical moment and was absolutely lights out.
Yeah, and one thing we got to commend him for too is they kept trying to talk him up. Like they kept like opening the door for him to like, to get all big headed and talk about how good he was. But at the end of the day, he kind of like laughed off a few comments that were made about him, even being a household name. When they talked about how they got here, he didn't say we got here because of me in these games. He said, man, we got here because of Freddie Anderson. We got here because of him. He got us here. He played the season. He got us here. And I just happened to be there at the right moment and was able to step in and support the team when the team needed supporting. And it ultimately it did win, but it's like we have to give he kept throwing everything went back to Freddie. Everything went back to the team. Nothing was a me show, an I show. It was how many people on the team could I talk about before I even get to me? And when they talk about me, I'm going to do some kind of like awkward laugh off because I don't even want to address that, like that mindset.
Well, and also they were trying to talk to him before, the job was finished too. So, afterwards, you got in the aftermath, they want to talk about things, but you got to let the emotions come down. Now, if we look at the other side of the coin. A week earlier, John Tortorella, who was coaching the Golden Knights, who took over like at the very end of the season, and he had said, like after Game 4, I think it was, that he would not be returning. Then they asked him right after the Cup final was over, and he said maybe. Then a couple days after that, he says no.
Yeah,
what
he
it came down to
resigns.
is, as we were texting back and forth, he can't take the grind. That's what it is. He may love the game, may love the coach, but the prospect of coming in just a couple of months, going through training camp, evaluating players, 82 game season, running a practice every day, running morning skates, all that stuff, it got to him. And he's at the age now where, you still love it, but you can't do the grind. So maybe what will happen is maybe next year, maybe he can become the Charles Haley of coaches. Remember Charles Haley, the great defensive end who wound up with 6 Super Bowl rings. What he did was toward the end of his career, he didn't even play the regular season. He'd be a free agent. He would sign with a team with about the last 3 games of the season, play himself into shape, and then play in the playoffs. So who knows? Maybe if there's it'd be kind of difficult with a coach, but if you got a good team that's good but not quite getting over the hump, maybe you bring in Torts for the last weeks of the season and then the playoffs.
Yeah, that's something that threw me off guard, right? Is like he resigned, and you sat there and looked. It's like Vegas is, especially this program, has still got a lot left to give.
Yeah.
They're one of 3 teams that are expected to be in the same position for next year. Obviously next to Carolina Hurricanes and for some reason McKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche. But it's like you resign at a moment when it's like you could very well come back next season and get the cup versus that coming up 2 games shy of the cup, right?
Well, here
it's
we
like
go.
He was put in a good position and then goes, I'm gonna resign. It's like,
are
you resigning because you're afraid to get fired, or it's like, what's going on?
I told you, can't do the grind. That's what it is. Who did Vegas get as a coach?
The grind is something. That's true.
Who did Vegas get as a coach? Reportedly, I think we got a text from E. He talked about who Vegas got as a coach.
Easy E wanted to be a part of the show, so he sent us the news. Who was the name? I forgot the name. Do you have the name written down?
You the man. He didn't send it to me because I'm not important enough.
No, he sent it in the group. Read the group text, brother. You don't know how to use a phone, boomer.
You, man.
Vegas, they got Ryan Craig as the team's next head coach.
Okay. Now, we don't know how he's going to be, but I guarantee you, hey, late March, bring a torch. What's up, man? How you doing? How you enjoying retirement and flying kites and feeding chickens and stuff? Yeah, we were just wondering for the next couple of months, what do you think, man? You still got your skates? Still got your dry erase board?
Yeah, come set us up for a win. And that's true,
you
right?
Still like flying first class?
Ryan Craig, he's definitely inheriting. He's a Tomlin in this situation, like with the Steelers. He's inheriting a good program. And so it's like, yeah, you very well could see a coach, him contact the coach who could still be active in those moments rather than, that full season, right?
So then
you make a good point.
Ryan Craig, get torched, make sure that no other team can talk to Ryan Craig for some reason, and then just have Torch take him through the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can see that happening. It would be a smart move, right? It'd definitely be a smart move on Vegas's, part.
And if Craig does great, then he takes them through. But if they're like sputtering like they were near the end of this season, they were just kind of underachieving. You could tell that things weren't exactly right. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I just think they couldn't figure out how to adjust anymore. I think that they just ran out. That was a personnel issue, right?
Well, that was an issue of grit, and we, the analysis we had, it worked almost in reverse because we talked about the amount of grit that Carolina had, but Vegas could match them, and Vegas had more pure scorers than Carolina, and it turned out we underestimated the amount of grit, muck and grind that Carolina had, and they just wore Vegas down to a nub, and that was it.
Yeah,
that was it. And by the end, Eichel was not playing that well. Marner was not effective. William Karlsson was out for the last game.
Yeah.
Howden
the same way.
They got whooped.
Howden couldn't break through the neutral zone. He get very little trickle into the zone occasionally. They couldn't control the puck down there, right? They really struggled to set up.
Mark Stone is, to me, he's as tough as his last name is, and they just Yeah, Carolina just got on him.
Yeah, it was interesting because you saw this team that going into the playoffs was better, obviously better. And again, I'm going to kick McKinnon when he's down again. Is that they were the better team on paper? They were absolutely, and this was a case where I hope McKinnon is listening. Is that you can't use that excuse because guess what? When it comes down to it, that team with the most heart, the most grit, and the physicality, which we talked about again, showed up game 2. Carolina said we got to do something to pick it up, and so they got that physicality, and they
and it's going to be a good off season here for hockey. I just see with the amount of discord there is. Like I said, Eastern Canada, what's up with Austin Matthews? Western Canada, you got the whole McDavid situation where you got everyone knows there's time is kind of running out on that window for Edmonton, and then building a team. Vegas. Well, Colorado even, they look at some depth issues because it turns out that beneath Makar, their blue line is pretty mediocre. Once Makar's out in the lineup, you got to get guys stepping up. It's like their liabilities begin to show. So I think they got to address their blue line. You got coaches that need to be addressed. You got a lot of things. And will Matthews and McDavid still be in the same place come the start of the season?
I really, honestly, if the Kings are listening, I'd really like to see either one of those guys go to the Kings because we need somebody. I know if McDavid becomes available, there's going to be everybody and their brother going to try to get him onto their team. But Austin Matthews, I think we could secure Austin Matthews. I think he'd be a good match with Kempe for sure, and I think it'd be a good balance to the all over the freaking place Quentin Byfield, right? Who can't seem to just play again at where he needs to play. McDavid, again, he'd be good, but it's like wherever McDavid goes, I think you got to have a team. It doesn't matter the Kings. You got to have a team that could play with him. And I think, though, you have to have that conversation with McDavid that says, hey, you skate the puck up the center of the rink, you get overcommitted, and you make a decision too late, which is how he ended up with his injury in the first place, is that he just went full speed into the net, made a decision last minute, and then hit the net at 21 miles an hour, right? It's like, so you have to have a conversation with him that to stop those two things, because you can plan a whole strategy around his mistakes, and that's a big one, because if you overcommit or you can get him to overcommit and pause, it's like McDavid becomes non-effective on the ice.
Right. And that's one of those things where, too, you got to look at maybe a team like, and we talked about Colorado, what kind of package could they possibly put together? And we got to look at that too, which is the one thing we don't know about is who has the assets. You got to look at what players they can give up, what the minor league assets are, draft picks, things like that all go into analyzing where a guy can go and what you're able to offer a team. And that's the kind of deeper analysis we haven't really done yet. But yeah,
I think that,
I just can't see McDavid or Matthews wanting to step into a situation where it's going to be more of the same. I would think if they want to move to a team that's going to give them a chance to win. Matthews or McDavid in Vegas. How about that? Vegas.
I don't think that'd work. I really don't think that'd work. I think that the team they have now is a team that you want to keep and make very little adjustments as far as personnel goes. I know we talked about them not having personnel, but it wasn't like a scrap the whole team.
No,
and go back to the drawing board. It was figure out somebody. McDavid, I don't think fits in that, because unless you could get him to work well with like Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel and things like that.
Yeah. Right.
So you'd have to plan a strategy around that. As far as Austin Matthews goes, I think if you watch these like little things on Hulu and stuff that they have where they show like players and individual players, it's like you see him in these interviews and these like following him around, and then you see Nylander, right? You see the kind of mindset that's on that team, because you see like the guy who kind of is a weaker player mentally, who will sit out when the team needs them the most, versus Austin Matthews, who's kind of like, I'm here to essentially grind it out and play. And so that's where you can see the chaos of that locker room. You can see the disconnect and how it's going. So I think that it's for Austin Matthews is getting him onto a team that has that same mindset, right? That has it doesn't. I'm going to say winning mindset. It's overused, but has a mindset to at least want to. We're going to get to the further than the first round, right?
So maybe Matthews is a fit where, because you look at very different players, Matthews and McDavid. So Matthews is more of a closer type of a guy. So maybe Matthews is fit in Colorado. Maybe
you could, but
depending on what you
okay.
want to do.
If I made that trade,
package up McKinnon, right?
Yeah, McKinnon. That's what I said. McKinnon
to
McKinnon would be
Toronto
first.
for Matthews. That would be the principles, and then you work out the other stuff.
Yeah,
that's something you could do.
I could see that. Again, McKinnon's the first person on my list to create a package with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because it's like I could look honestly.
Where's your list made?
Yeah. What?
On paper.
On paper.
Your list
yeah.
on paper. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I could look past the gold medal game. What I can't look past is that injury in that last Colorado game that took them out of the playoffs. Yeah. That was the one moment. And that was the one moment where it's like McKinnon cannot recover from this one. He can maybe recover from that gold medal game, though that'll haunt them. But they'll be right back there next Olympics, next Winter Olympics, as far as that goes. But that one, he gets injured, comes back, like rolls around on the ice for a little bit, then goes out. It's like that was the moment where Colorado lost. That was it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, still to me, they need to shore up the blue line. Just shore it up.
Yeah.
I mean, Taves is good, but they got to shore up their blue line. Get some guys out there, and then if they can get Matthews over them. Plus, with Matthews gets a change of scenery, a lot of times that energizes someone because he'd be going somewhere. Toronto is it's a mess. It's not, the environment there is toxic. Obviously, they've been burning out star players for decades now, and blame it on them, run them out of town. And then that's it. Then they're back in the same place another year or two later, burn another superstar, run them out of town. And it's the organization. At a certain point, you got to look at the organization. Because no matter what their roster is, they always underachieve.
And that's the thing. You say that kind of giving new life to older players, right? And I'm not gonna say older player, but a player who's been
different change of scenery.
Yeah, is that you look at Jack Eichel's my big example of this because Jack Eichel was that player. He had that back injury and they kind of wrote him off and he went to Vegas and it was like you had
Buffalo was, and God bless Buffalo with the season they had now that they're kind of resurrected, but good God, he was in purgatory in Buffalo.
Yeah, but even at that, they wrote him off. He got hurt. He had the back injury, got hurt. And so they're like, well, we'll ship you off to Vegas. And it's like when he got to Vegas, it's like, boom, right. New Jack Eichel. We're going to Stanley Cups. We're making it to at least the final round of playoffs. Yep. It's like whether or not we get the cup, what we're going to do is we're going to be in that game every year. Right. And that's what they have done.
That's what you want to be, is in the hunt. Yeah.
And so it's like, I could see that with Matthews. I see him as that same player. Right. Mm-hmm. So it should be good to see. I think again, the offseason is going to be good, as short of offseason as hockey has, right? Is that I think that there's going to be a lot of moves here and a lot of ones that will shock kind of the community. Sit there and go, wait, that happened, right? I really do. I'm pulling for the Kings to get one of those players at least. But again, it's like I would be okay with them going to some team that will actually utilize them for their skill. I'm just biased towards the Kings in general. And
do the Kings have someone to put around them? That's what it comes down to. But move on here. Remember, next week, June 24th would normally be when we're doing our show because we do tape on Go Live and to tape, we'll call it, on Wednesday nights. But I will be in San Diego to watch my beloved Atlanta Braves play the Padres. Justin is going to be out here running around Southern California during his little Father's Day excursion. And the thing is, on the 24th also, we got Brazil is going to be playing in Miami against Scotland. And that is also the day when the aliens are supposed to land in Miami. All right. So who knows what we'll have to report on July 1st when we come back and do our show. When we come back, I mean, will we even survive? Will we have actual pictures, verified sightings of aliens in Miami? I don't know. I mean, aliens, like I said, they're coming from outer space. I'm not talking about the wall you can build. I'm talking about from outer space they're coming. It has been predicted during that Brazil and Scotland contest in Miami on the 24th, the aliens are coming.
Here.
They're coming.
They will be here. Aliens will be here. And if they don't tell us anything and they try to hide it from us, we will know it.
Yeah.
If Miami Dolphins have another perfect season, we will look back and say, yep, aliens definitely showed up that year.
Yeah.
Aliens definitely showed up on that day. Real quick, last of the hockey. Okay. We will be off that next week. So if you're expecting us to be here, we love your support. We love that you're looking forward to us. And I've seen our views are continuing to go up, and we've continued to grab fans. And I love that. Thank you guys. We support you. We love your support too. We won't be here. We'll take a week off. For last of hockey, Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal wins the Conn Smythe. I know before we got
he's
here.
Your age, isn't he? He's 37. Is that you?
Yeah. No, I'm 34.
Okay. Oh.
So he's close to my age, I guess. Only one of us makes millions and just won the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe Trophy, and the other one.
Oh, mercy! How about that? What did he have? A 5-game goal scoring streak in the Cup?
Yeah,
final?
he killed it. Yeah, he was one of the most consistent players in the Cup as far as knowing his role, what he should do, getting in those spots that he needed to be in. Yep. He was the most consistent, and it paid off for the Conn Smythe. And I know, again, we were talking about who would get the Conn Smythe. Would it be Boosie or Jordan Staal? And we realized that all roads would lead to Jordan Staal on this. And on top of that, not only did he get the Conn Smythe trophy, he is the oldest player to get the Conn Smythe.
And the best part is he really earned it. It's not like they gave it to him as a gold watch or anything. He was the rock for that team throughout the playoffs, and also in the most important moments too, which was in the Cup final.
Yeah, and you know what?
See him hoist the cup. That was great. And only thing that was maybe second or equal was seeing when Rod Brind'Amour got to get the cup too, because he last hoisted it in 06 when he was on that the Carolina team as a player, winning the cup.
Oh, so the coach was on that team.
Oh, yes, Brind'Amour.
The coach was on the Carolina team that won the cup.
He was captain. And Eric Staal was on that team. Jordan Staal's brother, Eric, was on that team that won the cup.
So that's cool. That's a little like family history there. Okay.
Hey, their Thanksgiving is going to be fantastic this year, or whatever Canadians have.
Yeah, now they can kind of show their rings off. But when you saw Jordan Staal really come turn into that player, right? The one where it's like you're earning this. Mm-hmm. I think it's when Vegas shut down Ehlers. Would you argue that? Where Ehlers was shut down, and Jordan Staal said, if you shut him down, I'm now going to be the guy to pick up that slack, and we're not going to have a disconnect or a loss, in that moment, right? It's like, I'm gonna start playing this way because we need it. And so that shows a sense of teamwork though in Carolina.
Yeah, because Ehlers is quick, but Ehlers is a smaller guy, and Jordan Staal is just a freight train.
Yeah,
Lord,
almost like an old school player, right? Yeah. So it was cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to what's going on in the hockey world in the off season as we show up in the off season. However, moving on, the Jets found their.
Jets?
No, I'm talking about the New York Jets. They found their secret weapon to help them get to the Super Bowl. They found him. No, it's not Geno Smith, though they thought it would be. It actually comes through an offensive guard by the name of Joe Tippmann. He got a 4-year contract extension for $62 million. Now, how is this going to work out where he's the guy to get them to the big game? I don't know, but the Twitter analysts have been all over the place saying this is going to be the guy that gets the New York Jets to the Super Bowl.
Do you know what kind of a pocket you would actually have to give Geno Smith before he can find a receiver? 8-10 seconds. Come on, man. It's Geno Smith. And he has got to be the most, his value is as specious as any player out there. Good Lord. Geno Smith. Man.
So that's what blew my mind, right? Is that when I was looking at this extension, I was reading everything on X, because it's like I go from ESPN to X and I look at it and it's like, are guys really thinking one, an offensive lineman is going to get to the Super Bowl, and two, it's going to somehow erase the fact that you got Geno Smith that can't throw a 5-yard out route to Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I know.
Right? He can't throw a 5-yard out route to Brock Bowers, and you're like, if you can't do that, you just can't. Like, it's like, and the fact that the New York Jets coach says he's the best thing that they have had, it's like,
what
what's
does that say about Jets quarterbacks?
Yeah.
When Geno's the best. He might be right. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
And I have friends who are loyal Jets fans who became fans way back when, and they talk about the Jets having been entertaining and everything. In fact, one of my friends who's a big-time Jets fan, he goes, I hate that team was so entertaining during my childhood.
Yeah.
Because it ruined him. And now he's gone through all these just horrible moments.
It's like, listen, gun to your head, right? Who could you say is the best between the two, Geno Smith and Zach Wilson?
Just pull the trigger, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
no. Gun to my head, just pull the trigger. I don't even want to have that on my record that I said one or the other is better.
One than the other. Trigger, then you get what? Didn't Justin Fields was there last year, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like now you have Geno Smith, Justin Fields,
and
Zach
they
Wilson.
tried with Aaron Rodgers. He would look at the whole Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and it lasted 3 snaps?
Yeah.
3 snaps. Actually, 4 snaps if you count his Achilles.
But 4 snaps, and an ayahuasca trip, brother. That's what got Aaron Rodgers there. But the point is, it's like Aaron Rodgers is the best, respectively the best quarterback that they have had in 6 years. Right. But it's like you're looking at 10 years. You're looking at Justin Fields, Zach Wilson.
Who's the best? Mark Sanchez? Modern day Jets quarterbacks, is it Mark Sanchez? Who was the best? He got him back-to-back AFC Championship games.
But he was too busy. He was too busy getting in fights outside of a bar this past year. So,
yeah, but I give it. Then we had butt fumble, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah,
still the funniest thing I ever saw.
It is pretty funny.
Oh my!
It makes me laugh every time I see it. I never get old. The two clips I never get old is the butt fumble and Reggie Bush getting the absolutely living snot knocked out of him on that bubble pass.
Brian Dawkins, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember he knocked him out of the TV picture. I remember watching that game.
He knocked him out. He knocked him out of a football career.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 clips I never get tired of watching. I will watch them over and over again. I'm just saying. Sorry, Reggie Bush, if you're listening, but your pain is my entertainment.
I don't know. Watching. I do remember this was before he got to Green Bay, but Reggie White sacking a quarterback by throwing his own blocker into him.
Yeah, that's good.
The fullback in the backfield to block, and he just grabbed the fullback.
Speaking of which, the other thing that's entertaining, I don't know if you've seen this, is that there was a defensive lineman on the Vikings whose last game, it was the last couple seconds of them playing the Packers, and he was trying to get the sack record for the team, and he went to tackle Brett Favre, but Brett Favre kind of fell over first, so he didn't get the record. And so there was a clip of this guy like trying to fight Brett Favre at like a team signing event. And so I can't remember the guy's name. I had to look it up, but it's absolutely hilarious. Like that's one of the other moments. So anyway, he saw Brett Favre and he goes, what the heck, man? Give me my sack back. I need it. It was your fault. I didn't get it. And it went on and it was like getting all up in like Brett Favre's face. And Favre, knowing him, he had no idea what was happening.
Well, we know why.
Yeah.
We know why that is, right?
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in the altered states, we'll call it.
Yeah. But it was funny. So those are my favorite sports moments. Maybe we'll have a favorite sports moments when we get back. Better news. That's not, it's more interesting because I think it does shake up the way the Raiders are going to look this year. Is that the Raiders locker room were particularly not just excited, but shocked at the way that Fernando Mendoza comes in and develops his work ethic, right? Is that they're saying that Mendoza has already an elite mindset. And I think that that's hard to teach. So if he comes in with an actual elite mindset, I really believe that we'll see a lot more of him this season than we will of
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, and I think it's going to be one of those where Cousins is kind of, we may see him give way to Mendoza like mid-season or so, but I think Cousins has been said they've told him your job is to keep him on the bench, which means play well enough to keep him on the bench.
you can only do that for so long. If he really has that elite mindset, right, and which is they don't teach people from college that they, it's kind of like you get it sometime during the NFL. If you come in with that mindset, I think that it's going to be hard to keep him on the bench.
Right. Well, what it comes down to is how do you keep him on the bench? You win games. That's it. As long as you're winning, you don't get pulled.
And you're relying on Kirk Cousins for that?
It's the entire Raiders organization it's going to take. And you know what? I will be there. Again, it bears repeating. I'll be there week 1 when they play my Miami Dolphins at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. Yes, C-Dog will be there. So y'all come up. You go ahead and holler at her brother if you're at the game. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you have it. He'll be there. Yep, there you go. But again, I think that'll be a fun game to watch too, right? Is that to see kind of this rising quarterback star who I think he'll only have a season on the bench before he becomes the
right. And when I get there, he'll probably be strolling the sidelines with a clipboard and a pencil, But whatever, I still will be at the very first game where Fernando Mendoza was the quarterback on the roster of the Oakland Raiders. I'll be able to say that on September 13th. 2026, unless I drop dead between now and then.
No, you're not doing that. Again, you're not doing that because then these podcasts. These podcasts would get awkward when I'm just showing you tombstone on screen. Okay.
Hey, I had that happen to a podcast partner. We used to do our show on Thursdays. We talked on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And he did not make it through the night. Actually happened. Dearly departed John Moncrief was his name.
I'm not laughing, but it's like
it's the irony of it,
It's one of those moments.
One of those, we'll see you tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. I got a phone call from someone else had left me a voicemail that he had passed away during the night. I'm like, wow. Ooh, that's not even possible. I just talked to him last night. We talked about stuff and
then that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Enjoy life, folks. Life is fragile. Life, you never know how long you got, but just enjoy it, live with purpose, and chase a dream here and there. And turn off the mainstream media news.
And turn on T.D.G.S. Sports, brother. Come on now.
Exactly. Yeah, I was getting there. I was taking the long and winding road. You drive by both of those toxic left-wing network. You know what I'm talking about. And the toxic right-wing network. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Turn them off, tune them out, and just enjoy life. Forget those doomsday scenarios. It's like working up and having a bowl of doo-doo for breakfast. That's what it's like to turn on that stuff in the morning. Then you go to work all day, come back. What's for dinner? Oh, a doo-doo sandwich. When you turn it on again, just stop. Just stop. Unplug from that stuff and enjoy life, people.
Enjoy it.
Get that fear-mongering nonsense. And just think about it. You've been scared of this, that, and the other. How much of that stuff has come to fruition? Just whatever happens. Nothing. You spend weeks scared, losing sleep, chugging Pepto-Bismol, having toxic conversations with people instead of building relationships. And what ultimately happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. But them aliens are coming on June 24th.
Yeah, them aliens.
Yeah, I want to see the aliens.
So speaking of enjoying life, we have the Texas Tech quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, who is enjoying life, much like the Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel, right? I'm sorry, I always get the name messed up, but much like Johnny Manziel, who finds himself in a gambling situation. Don't gamble, folks. Remember, especially not in your 20s. And so in his appeal to play for the NCAA for another like 50 or 60 years, he decided to drop that dream and say, I want to get to the supplemental draft. Now, for most of you like me, wondering what the supplemental draft is, it's just an extra draft in the spring that allows players like him, who is in a gambling scandal trying to fix his image and lost the legal battle to the NCAA, for him to get into the NFL and get picked up.
It's basically like this. If there was the big dance and you were at the big dance and you didn't ask anyone to dance really that you were interested in, we're going to have another dance, and everybody who meant to ask someone to dance but didn't, and everyone who didn't get asked to dance, y'all come to this dance and see if y'all can partner up. There you go. Yeah.
And that's what this is. Never mind everything else a part of this. And, so we'll see. He wasn't that bad of a quarterback. I know Texas Tech came in and they killed their bowl game and they won. So I don't know. I think that the quarterback class this year is still questionable. We have to wait for this season to see how it turns out. Like we just talked about Mendoza, who's, elite mindset, but will he be that player?
Right.
Ty Simpson, who will be riding the pine behind Matt Stafford. It's just you have an interesting quarterback class. I don't think we need another guy to enter that quarterback class and be questionable as.
And we never know if the skills are going to translate at the next level. That's what it comes down to. So we'll see what quarterback skills can translate once the game speeds up. The windows that you get to throw through, they tighten up. They're half the size of what you threw in college. Wow, through. Wow. There's the college that you threw.
Yeah, and the reviews get slightly better too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. To move on from there, because quarterbacks are completely uninteresting, right? Unless you're Patrick Mahomes at the World Cup. You have Lions or Lambs tight end, Sam Laporta.
Really? You're going Lambs again?
The Lambs again. Sam Laporta, he got injured. I believe it was ACL at the end of last season. And so word on the street is that he is progressing nicely in his recovery. And Dan Campbell is at least hopeful he should make it back sometime closer to the start of the season than the latter part of it. Sam Laporta is a saving grace for the Lions, that's for sure. He's kind of their go-to guy. He came up clutch a couple times, especially against the Packers this past season. So that kind of adds a factor to St. Brown, Amon St. Brown, right? But that still only adds two. They add two. And again, like we talked about, is Jahmyr Gibbs, right, is that he can't be the every down back. So you're still struggling, but it is a good moment for them to get this tight end back.
Yeah, and you know what? The Lions they're kind of a prove it to me team this year.
Okay.
Prove to me that you're still up there, that you're still kind of you're still in the mix, you're still in the hunt, that you didn't lose too much, that your window didn't close a couple of seasons ago. So, like I said, these first 8 or 10 games, it's going to be crucial for them. And if they're sitting at 500 or something, Dan Campbell, I'm telling you, 4-4 or 5-5 is going to get Dan Campbell canned. If they're either of those two records, 4-4 or 5-5, Campbell's out.
Yeah, I think so too. And so it will be interesting to see how that works out. And speaking of coaches that won't get canned because they got extended, Sean Payton proved himself this year with the Broncos, and he excellent coach, turned that team around. It's unfortunate the way that season ended, but he got a 5-year contract extension. So we are looking at another 5 years of Broncos at the very least in the running, if not the big game.
And actually, I will be at one of their games too, because when the Broncos come out here to play the Chargers in October, I'll be at that game. See, I do my scouting, a little face-to-face type of a thing, So I'll be here to see the Broncos play the Chargers, a good old school division rivalry right out here at SoFi Stadium. And hey, I got my club seats and everything. I'm going to get the unlimited buffet, and I'm going to get there early. I'm going to chow down. And by the way, that buffet is extremely underrated. If you get a chance, get there, SoFi, between sections 237 and 241. And they got that buffet there. It's fantastic.
Yes. So he will be there looking at the Broncos to recognize that the Broncos will be a great
team.
I
want to get to a Rams game too, because I got to see Myles Garrett in person. I got to get to a Rams game. Myles Garrett is a game wrecker, and I want to see it. I want to see it in person and be able to tell my great grandkids that I was there and I saw Myles Garrett in person. We'll say great grandkids. I already got grandkids. Yeah. I'll make it to great. I should. But great, that'd be a little bit of a stretch. That'd take me another 20 years or so, 25 years. Yeah, great grandchildren.
Yeah, you could rock it.
I set my goals, man. I said
you don't look a day past like 70, so you're good.
Yeah, exactly. I heard 73, but you know what? I'd take the compliment. I don't look a day over 70. I do. I know you're just being generous, homeboy.
Yeah. Sadder news is that former Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman Aldon Smith passed
Defensive line,
away.
D-line.
D-line, I'm sorry, defensive
Yeah.
line. Aldon Smith passed away this week. Cause of death was not released. However, we do know that his brain is being essentially donated to be checked for CTE, which is, again, it's a common thing for these athletes who were down in the trenches, especially during the era that he played.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So basically head injury. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down. A lot of the players, I remember Dave Duerson, who played for the Bears defense, the 85. Junior Staal had that. And Cole Lemieux, I think they're looking at him for that. I don't think they have any results yet, but apparently it does cause, it's pretty bad stuff.
Well, yeah, it creates fluid at the top of the kind of just back here at the top of the brainstem, and creates this fluid in this cavity there.
Well, and it basically makes you nuts, kind of. I mean, it's one thing to see about the physical and stuff, but your decision making, your cognitive function, everything is affected by it. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I am healthcare professional adjacent, so just know a few of these things. But bad stuff. I don't know what you do about it, because it is about the repeated blows to the head. That's part of the sport. That's a lot of sports. But
they can do a lot now, so they can drain that fluid now. Kind of because they know what the symptoms are. They've done enough.
If you drink it, does it go back?
Well, the problem is, so you have that cavity in there, and fluid does start to build up again, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of a process. Once you drain the fluid, you're gonna have to keep draining it every so often. So it's kind of temporary relief from that situation. But
as Shannon Sharp was talking about it, and he talked about playing football, and he said there is something called assumed risk, and that's really what it's about.
That's what I talk about all the time. Is like, when you go out to play that sport, it's like, especially football. All of us knew, I know that a lot of guys in the NHL tried to say they didn't know. Like, I know that was on the lawsuit against the NHL, is that they didn't know that was going to happen. And it's like, no, anytime you go out there, you put a helmet on, and you, especially during the era of like the 90s, right, in the early 2000s and the late 80s, for hockey at least, it's like, that's when like you were that was a problem that you're going to have. Football CTE, that was going back all the way to its beginning, right? You were going to have that. But you knew
that hit a lot of guys later on. That was the problem. But I remember one of the old school hockey players, they were talking about it back in the 90s. And they talked with one of the old school guys who played in the 70s. They said, why didn't you guys get concussions back then? And he goes, well, I think we did, but we just thought they were hangovers.
Yeah, we just that's the point, though. But who didn't really who's not succumbing to the CTE problems is the enforcers. The enforcers are the lowest percentage of people with concussions in the league, or at least when they played and they were a thing. So it's kind of interesting to see how, you have guys who were the enforcers don't get it, and guys who were not necessarily the enforcers, and now they're getting it.
I think the difference is, though, is a lot of the enforcers, what did they play? 6-8 minutes a game? Maybe, because they came in, there wasn't a whole lot of contact with them getting taken into the boards or anything. They'd come in, and either they got into a fight when they were on the ice, or they didn't. And so there wasn't a lot of the repeated blows to the head, the forceful type of a thing. I mean, getting punched unconscious. Well, that happened to Nick Kypreos. He was in one fight, got punched unconscious, and that was the end of him. And there have been some that were, undersized, that were like John Cordick, who was undersized and wound up, he was not long for this earth. But they don't play that much actual hockey when it comes down to it. A few shifts a game. They're out there just to kind of keep order, and they don't fight every single night. It just depends on who's on the other team, but they know the guys know
when they're needed, right? And that's the point, though. But that goes back to assume risk, is that you are, I was the enforcer when I played, but on football, it's like, I came in the era where I had the washboard, and so 9 times out of 10 I was going to leave.
You were talking about your abs.
No, well, I had a wash. Yeah, I had that when I was playing too. Yeah, I had that when I was playing too. Now, not so much. The beer turned into a different kind of washboard abs, but but it's like I knew
have at a party, a 6-pack or a pony keg.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that was the thing, is that you were going to lead. I was going to lead with my face, right? And that's just kind of how it went. But it's like you knew that there were going to be some repercussions later on down yonder. You just got to be mindful of that. And I think that it'd be foolish, like on the lawsuits, that when people say they didn't know they were getting it, because that's you do. You do.
Yeah, but you know, people love the game. People love to watch it. People love to play it. And unfortunately, there is this, this whole other side of it, the dark side of sports. And like I said, there's a non-glamorous side.
Yeah, but I think that was not so much a problem as it is now, as equipment gets safer, people start caring about fundamentals.
Right.
And more so rely on the equipment to save them. Anyway, speaking of taking blows to the head here, UFC at the White House just happened. I know a lot of people were hoping the rain and all this other stuff would simmer this event out, because they were saying, Donald Trump and whatever, right? We understand Donald Trump's old news, chaotic, just plain dumb at this point. But nonetheless, one of the greatest sports moments ever this year happened, is that one of the fighters got up there and, called Michelle Obama a man. And let me tell you something, that's pretty funny. I don't care what Shane Gillis says. It's funny. It is funny, because everybody's been thinking that for the past, since she was first lady of Obama's first term. It's funny. Come on. She looks like a man. Let's be for real. She does. You can't deny it. You cannot deny the fact that Michelle Obama looks like a man.
Hey, I can't say.
Yeah.
That was a pretty bold thing to say. But you know what? I don't think that it can really be. I don't think there should be any backlash for it. Now, the cancel culture people are done ever since a few years ago when a few of their people were almost canceled. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. We mean selective cancel culture. It's like, no. This stuff is over. So
yeah, it's over altogether.
And cancel culture is done. He said what he said, and that's that. You can either agree that she's a man or she's a he, or she's a Franken woman. We don't know.
Let's be honest. 95% of America thinks it. So just saying. And
95%.
Don't quote me on those numbers. Don't quote me on those numbers.
Yeah,
but
okay.
even the people who don't think it are truly thinking it.
Well, it's one of those where there's smoke, there's fire, I suppose. Yeah. But honestly, I never gave it a thought until people started saying it just recently. That she might be a dude. I honestly didn't. I just
and then you looked at a picture and said, they're probably right. Anyway, so on that note, the event went off with a bang, and it was, from what I can tell, it was great. It was one of those.
I didn't watch it, honestly. I've only seen bits and pieces, clips, pictures, and things like that. It was spectacularly staged, and I think as an event, it actually they pulled it off well. And from what I understand, the fights were pretty good as well. From what I understand, I didn't watch it.
However, Dana White said that was a one and done. Never going to happen again. It cost them too much money.
Yeah. Well, they got to bill somebody.
Yeah.
I can't believe they lost money on the deal. I mean, that'd be strange. You'd think there'd be some guaranteed, looking at the event and where it's held. I would want some guarantees, like those $8,000 hammers that the government buys and stuff like that. You're going to tell me I can't get guarantees when I hold the event?
You think it would be better spent to support UFC than to bomb schools in Iran. But hey, who am I to judge, right? Anyway,
this is above your pay grade, homeboy.
Yep, I know.
Above your
moving
pay
on.
grade.
Moving on. Okay. Golf got interesting. Phil Mickelson. I don't know what this does to doesn't this do something to live, but Phil Mickelson had to resign from his golf club because he tried to grab somebody's tail end there. Allegedly.
I think about this stuff when I think about things like this, because everyone talks about pro athletes, and you always got all kinds of skeevy tramps who want to throw themselves at these guys, but these guys want to go out and find someone else. And you just got to remember the line from Jurassic Park, the first one, when they were going by the T-Rex paddock and they had put that goat up there, and they were all supposed to watch the T-Rex eat the goat. And the goat was just chained up there waiting. It was just easy prey. And Sam Neill's character looks at it and he goes, there's all those years of evolution just chained up. It doesn't want to be fed. It wants to hunt. That's what you got to remember with someone like Phil Miller. He doesn't want to be fed. You know, these girls writing down their number in their panties and throwing them at him. That's too easy. I want to hunt. There you go, man.
And it got him nowhere. So
yeah, well, hey, anyway. Not every hunt is successful.
Yeah, especially for him. Anyway, U.S. Open of Golf is Thursday. Make sure you all tune in New York. Okay. This is one to be particularly looking out for Scottie Scheffler because he needs this win to get his Grand Slam for the majors of golf. Last year, we watched Rory McIlroy get it when he won the Masters. This year, we could see with Scottie Scheffler
be the career slam.
Yeah.
Career slam. Yeah. Not to be confused with the calendar Grand Slam. All of them in the same calendar
year.
Or
the Denny's meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. At this course, though, they were saying that fairways are wider than normal. So that's a big problem, too, because that can kind of set you further off of the greens than you wanted, right? Greens are tough. And so if you don't have a strategy on how you're going to attack as far as your short game goes, and you kind of, if you fail or stumble on any part of that short game, they'll become unmanageable. And that's where you see a lot of guys start to fizzle out from the leaderboard and kind of start to drop down spots. And you see that with everybody. I know at the 108th PGA Championship, you saw Rory McIlroy miss a lot of the putts he usually makes. You saw guys like Fleetwood start to drop. And so on this, same thing with Cameron Young. So the favorites, though, are those same guys that we've been talking about. Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Jon Rahm. Cameron Young, again, I think that he's the younger generation's golfer and somebody to be watching. Very humble. Matt Fitzpatrick, who has won this event once before, and he was kind of giving the insight as to what happens when those greens become unmanageable. You also have people who are not necessarily favored, but in the running to potentially be on that leaderboard. Tommy Fleetwood, I think he can do it. Ludwig Ahlberg, if he keeps his mind straight and plays the game that he usually plays, he can do well. But of course, he has had those moments where he's been a bunker hopper, and so that's kind of pulled him out of the running. I know last year at the Masters, that was his deal. He played really well, but went hit the last day and went from bunker to bunker to bunker to bunker to bunker to bunker.
Hopper. That almost sounds really pejorative. Man, you were just a bunker hopper, mother. you know what it sounds like, right? A bunker hopper. If you say it fast enough to be like, wait, what did you call me?
Yeah, what'd you say?
What the hell did you call
me? Bryson DeChambeau, hopefully he does not shit the bed on this one. He's a great golfer. He's a live golfer. However, he's been known to do, hopefully he does better than what he did at the Masters. And the Masters, he was on it the second day. He just didn't bring the game that he normally plays. And so this is a potential for him to win as long as he plays the way he normally plays and not like at the Masters. Aaron Ra, who took the 108th PGA tournament champion or PGA championship, Aaron Ra, he's potentially could be on the leaderboard. He was consistent with the greens at Pennsylvania. Can he be consistent with the greens here? Especially if they're anywhere near the ones at Pennsylvania. I hope so. I think Aaron Ra, he's got a lot to give too. And then you have Justin Rose, who is the aging golfer, but still plays really well. He trains hard, and so he deserves a win, especially after kind of coming up short in the past couple of matches, especially the past couple of majors. I think that he can revive his career. Man. What?
All about the nerves.
Yeah, all about the nerves.
Talent, but can you just overcome the nerves? And it doesn't get talked about enough in sports nowadays, and especially in golf is where you see that. And I'm a casual watcher. Over the years, I have watched guys unravel. I mean, the worst had to be, any one, probably 5 different Greg Norman unravelings, but John van der Velde, when he was about to win the British Open, and next thing you know, he's taking off his socks and shoes and getting into a stream and trying to hit a ball off a lily pad. My God.
But that's what happens.
And the announcers were just going bananas, and it's like, his caddy or somebody should have just grabbed him and.
But you see that, like,
out of there.
Yeah,
like what is he doing? Oh my goodness! Taking off his socks and shoes and rolling up his pants.
Yeah. And that happens too. You see these guys with their pant leg rolled up and they're half in the water, half out, and swinging away for the fences, and it goes like 2 feet. Right. So again, especially with unmanageable greens, though, that can happen a lot.
An insurmountable lead.
Yeah.
Even Greg Norman couldn't believe it. And if anybody can blow an insurmountable lead, it was Greg Norman. That's old school for you people, I don't know if Justin you even remember him, but he's maybe just a name to you. But trust me, if you look up Greg Norman chokes, you'll get some of the most epic stuff ever. When you read through it, you will not believe that it actually happened. It was crazy. It was crazy.
There you have it. We'll probably we could pull some up next time we're on air, and we could see.
I mean, he lost leads. Guys, he was so far ahead that guys weren't even chasing him anymore. And he would lose. It's just all you got to do is make par.
Yeah, but it matters. It matters a lot, though. If nerves are a big deal, and when you get ahead of yourself too. We've seen that with Rory this past season. He's gotten a lot of moments where he's gotten ahead of himself. Like same thing at the Masters, right? Is he was so far ahead, he just kind of stopped, and then by the last day, he realized that he had to start playing again. Otherwise, he was going to let Cam Young and a few other people kind of pass him. And that was especially even Scheffler, who was kind of just recreational playing golf that day or that weekend. It's like he started to come back, and so it was a moment where you're like, Rory, what are you doing?
And I say this to anyone: if you want to understand why all those stories you hear of golfers either breaking the putter over the knee or throwing their entire bag of clubs into the lake, go out there and just try to play 9 holes at your local golf course. And I'm not saying you'll do it, but when you finish, you will understand. You will understand why people do that, why they just swear they will never hit a golf ball again, throw all their clubs into the lake, and just storm off. You'll get it.
You'll get it.
You will understand.
Yes, golf is that game where if you don't bring that mental focus right, or you don't really, though, I like to say
you can bring it and you can still suck, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, my general rule is if you're not having fun with golf, you're really going to do terrible. You can't golf angry. You can't golf any level of emotional instability. You got to have a good
fun, though.
It is.
I mean, it appeals to the perfectionist in all of us. But is it truly fun? Or maybe there's a reason why there's so much alcohol consumed on the golf course. Just Charles, to make it tolerable to chase that little ball all around that course and try to get to that little bitty hole. Man, it's just
you just haven't golfed with me, so we'll talk about that.
You know what? Look up Robin Williams when he does his whole sketch on golf. You got to see that if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube, Robin Williams and golf. And just look that up, watch that, and you'll be amazed, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about here.
Anyway, so on the last note, wanted to hear is that history happened with the NBA. You ready for this? The New York Knicks, for every game of their entire playoff run, have come back from behind a 20-point lead, 30-point lead, 400-point lead, whatever, to win the NBA championship. First time since 1973, the NBA has finally got the Knicks back on their title board.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe. Here's the thing. That was so unbelievable. I picked the Spurs to win that series, but here's the thing. Even though the Knicks won, and they won the thing in 5 games, but if you pick the Spurs, you actually made the right pick. I'm sorry you didn't win, and I'm sorry that maybe some of you lost money gambling, which you shouldn't be doing in the first place, but the Spurs, they should have won every game, and maybe even in a sweep, honestly, but they just couldn't. They could not hold it together, like, at all.
No, it was. I
don't know what it was. It was terrible. It was just terrible.
Those comebacks were enough to ask, is the NBA rigging this game? Like, that's how bad those comebacks were, right? Where you're sitting there going, are they like? Because it's one of those moments where you're like, that big of a lead, you should just kind of, you should get the win.
I credit the Knicks here. Let me not take anything away from them. For them to be down by that much and not become demoralized and throw in the towel at any point, and just to be able to work their way back, and then finally just outplay the Spurs down the stretch. It's fantastic. And it was nice to see, Jalen Brunson and his dad being on the coaching staff for the Knicks after having played with them way back in the day. His dad's on the coaching staff. Mike Brown, who coached, who was winning his first as a head coach, winning his championship there. And it was just nice when I saw the post-game interview, seeing Jalen Brunson and his dad there, both. And Brunson is the playoff MVP as well. But that was just a moment. And that's one of those moments that makes, I'm sure for those two, just everything, so many moments came together from the time that Brunson was just a kid, everything that you ever did, both of them, both ways, just it in that moment, it's like everything that wasn't worth it is suddenly worth it.
It's suddenly worth it, right?
That was it. And that moment is what they lived for. That's why he screamed at him with his kid. That's why when he was a kid, and that's why Jalen said, "Daddy, I hate you," or whatever. That was it, to get to this level. So it was a great moment, and that's what it is. The backside of the other side of sports. There, the backstory. It's just great, and that's what makes sports. And that's why we watch sports, right? That's it. Yeah. Don't watch the toxic news networks. Watch some sports, y'all.
Watch the sports, and more specifically, watch T.D.G.S. Sports.
Exactly. Check us out here, man. Check us out.
We are your new favorite sports show. I promise you that. And because
nobody will say that they watch our show and they're in a bad mood afterwards.
No, they can't. No way can you do that.
Love life. You're living it. You're living with purpose. You're living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream, right? And so for the NBA, it worked out in its favor as well, because this was the highest rated Game 5 since 1998 as far as viewers.
And that was the Last Dance. 1998 was when Jordan and his Bulls were winning their 6th NBA title. Last Dance was a great documentary. And then you had the next year was the Knicks and Spurs in the final in 1999. And that was the last time the Knicks had been to the NBA final. And here you come for all these years, Knicks and Spurs again. And Knicks finally get their revenge, even though everybody who was on that 99 team is old and gray and icing their knees just to be able to sit and watch a game for that long. But
hey, they got to play and win the big game, and they got to see their team finally break. I guess there was a curse there. They said it was a curse on the team, and break it and get the win.
Yeah,
which was cool. And again, I've never sat down and watched basketball, but because the comebacks that kept happening, I had to see it for myself.
Yeah.
And so the last two, not the last two games, sorry, the game 3, game 4, I watched it. I watched the whole game through, and so it was fun. Game 5, I didn't necessarily, I was doing something, but it was just good to see. It was fun to watch kind of those, again, just like the Stanley Cup ended up being a historical moment and hockey history. This NBA Finals run was one for the NBA books, for the historical books there.
And I think we're in a nice window here. We had a great Stanley Cup final, a great NBA final. The World Cup is going on, and the aliens are coming next Wednesday.
Yeah, shoot, man. We got a whole run. Yeah. And on that note, right, one for the books there. We will cap off our episode. We appreciate you all tuning in. I see your support. I see it on Rumble. I see it on YouTube. I see it on even Substack. I see it on X. I'm starting to pick up views there. And so I appreciate you. Even Spotify, I see some people tuning in on the radio. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. We love your support. We hope to God that the aliens don't come next week, so that way you can have another sports show to watch the week after that. Remember, we won't be here next week, but we will be back with our full crew. So that means we can go back to saying whatever jokes that we could say when Easy's here. And anyway. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you in 2 weeks.